Welcome back to the Behind Their Business podcast, or if this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And today our guest is going to share about living the nomadic lifestyle. She's going to talk about where she's been, where she's going, and why she decided to go on this journey. And she's also going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly and take us behind the scenes of what it's really like, because I can't imagine that it's all beautiful mountaintops and lakes like you see in the Instagram photos online. So I'm really excited for her to dive into this and share what is actually happening behind the scenes of this quote unquote dream lifestyle that so many people want. But in her business, our guest is a transformative coach working with both individuals and organizations. And she is also a part-time digital nomad and van traveler. So please welcome to the show, Daisy Hilbrands. Daisy, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to be here with you. And
Yeah.
as
Sorry, go
your
ahead.
audience couldn't see that I was really shaking my head when you were about the beautiful mountains and the idyllic Instagram picture of how it is to have a nomadic lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to hear everything that you're going to share with us. But first, before we dive into the nitty gritty of the behind the scenes of van life, can you just share what you were doing before you got started in your business and why you even wanted to go on this nomadic journey in the first place?
Yes, I can. So I do have a background in corporate life as a microbiologist and have worked in research for many years. And I started getting that little bit nagging feeling of a 9 to 5 job was not really me. I wanted something outside of a corporate life. So I already, by the end of my corporate life, I got a stationary in Germany. I'm original from Denmark, so I moved to Berlin in Germany. So I also got a little bit of that one of changing where you're coming from and moving around. So that just got me even more hooked in having the possibility of doing that. So when the headquarters wanted me back to Denmark, I was a little bit like, nah, don't really want to do this anymore. So I decided to leave corporate life at that point. And my idea when I decided, okay, now it's gonna be, I'm gonna form my working life as I wanted, was I'm gonna study data science. And
Oh, wow.
that's
That's
like,
totally different.
yeah, like where you introduced me, that is not where I ended at all. But yeah, having a scientific background, I already knew a little bit of coding, and I liked it. So it was, I know you can, with working with data science, you can get freelance position, you can work around and move around with your job. So it seems like the ideal solution for me. And 3 months into the course, I found out this was not me at all.
But hey, at least you tested it out to see if it was something that you could
Yeah,
do.
yes. And then by coincidence, I stumbled over a coach because one of my friends was taking a coach training and they had like what you say, voluntarily coming into the class to be coach, so they could see how each other was coaching. And he was like, okay, you are not doing anything. You come here and sit and be coach. And I was like, yeah, okay, why not? And the classroom experience there was not that amazing or anything, but afterward I got a call from one of the teacher of this coaching school, and she asked if she could ask me a couple of questions. I said yes, of course. And then in 15 minutes she narrowed down what I really wanted to do with my life.
Wow, that's great. And what did she come to the conclusion of?
And I wanted to have freedom in my life. I wanted to be independent and I wanted to have freedom. I didn't want to go to university and get a second degree to again be locked into some kind of position I thought would give me a certain amount of freedom, but not the freedom I really wanted to have.
Mhm.
So the
I feel like that's the
decision,
story that so many other people have as well. So yeah, you're not
definitely
alone there.
yes, no. So the decision after talking to her was, okay, I'm gonna pause for half a year, find out what I want to do with my life. But yeah, in that half of a year, I can take a coaching training because I want to know how she did that. Uh, and then I
Yeah,
can
how
figure
she
out what
figured
I do.
out where you were to get you to where you want
Yeah,
to be in like 15 minutes. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yeah. that thing we all want to know when we are sitting and thinking, what the are we doing with our life right now?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. So did you
yeah,
take a
so
life coach certification training?
I took a certification as a transformative coach, and 1 week into the course, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do with my life. So
That's amazing.
I
And
found it.
when was that? How long ago was that?
That is 3 years ago.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's great. I'm so glad that you were able to figure that out because so many people are
Mm.
still struggling to figure out what they want to do with their life. And all it took you was about a month, right?
Yes.
So that's amazing. That's great.
Yeah. And some nagging in my old job for around, to be honest, 5 to 7 years where I was not totally satisfied with what I was doing. So yeah,
Yeah. So remind me, were you still in your job when you became a coach or you had left
no,
and then you pursued this,
I
right?
I have left, yes.
Okay. Okay. Great. So now I want to know, did you start your nomadic lifestyle when you became a coach or did it start prior to that?
It is not prior to that. In fact, I did take my whole coach training as a digital nomad.
Oh,
So
really?
it became a little bit of a joke at my school. I took it in a Danish school because, yeah, I am original Danish. I have had English as working language for many years, but learning new techniques and the fine tune of how different methods works, I wanted to have it in Danish to be totally sure that I got everything out of it as I could. So it became a little bit the joke every time we logged on, where is Daisy now? Because it was a new background every time they saw me.
Yeah, I bet that was the first question that I asked you when we got on. I said, "Where are you in the world right now?"
Yes.
And where are you if you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, right now I am in Berlin in Germany, and that is a little bit the base. So it is from here I do travel from for a longer period of time, but this is the base.
And do you typically only travel in Europe or where all around the world? Where do you go?
If it is with the van, it is in Europe because there is also a cat with.
There's a
So
what? I'm sorry.
there's a cat with when we travel in the van. So the cat comes along.
Oh, the cat comes with. Oh, okay, okay,
Oh
okay.
yes. And that is just easier to do within in Europe of moving her across borders also.
I'm sure. So is it just you and the cat, or do you have a partner that comes with you?
I also have my partner with me. So me, my partner, and a cat, and a small Volkswagen bus. It's nothing fancy RV like or anything. It is really small. There is no bath, there is no toilet, and there is like a scout's kitchen in it.
Okay, so I have so many questions. All right, so
You can
um,
start.
how do you live your life in a van? Is my very, very broad first question. So, well,
Yes.
let's take it back first. What when you first decided that you wanted to live this nomadic lifestyle, did you start out with the van that you're currently in, or did you have another van that you used prior to that?
We started out with the van we are current in.
Okay, great. And
So
it's been how many years? 3 years?
3 years now, yes.
Okay.
And
And
we are talking about we perhaps need a little bit upscaling size message. It is
yeah,
on the
so
discussion board.
you obviously explain the setup a little bit more for those who aren't familiar. So you obviously have a
Yeah.
bed in there. You have a bed, and you
Yes.
said you have a very small kitchen. What's in that kitchen specifically?
Like a primus, so like a gas plus, or where you can just cook very simple things on.
Okay,
Heat
and
water for the coffee and tea, warm a soup, fry some eggs, but nothing more advanced than that.
okay, and I'm assuming it's a van that you drive, so you don't have to take another car
Yes,
with you, right? You don't pull it.
exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then I'm just most intrigued by the shower and bathroom
Yeah, it
situation.
is.
What do you do?
Yeah, it is a little bit of thing of it is what most people ask about. But you said the shower is quite easily. Most camping sites, we don't stay on camping sites because we also travel with a cat, and on most camping sites there are dogs. So it's and we like to stay in nature. It is a little bit while we also have a small van. It is so we can be in nature. But most camping sites allow you for a couple of euros to take a shower. So
Oh, okay.
that part is in fact quite easily fixed. I will admit we probably smell a little bit sometimes, but it's just the two of us in the van.
Right. You're like, you just deal with me. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, and what you can say for toilet, that is back in nature.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
so that's what I.
that is not something I could do. I mean, I have done it in the past when I've had to, but
Yeah,
oh, good for you. That's amazing.
and I will also admit it is one of the things where I have said when we do upscale, I would like there is a toilet in it.
I
And
don't blame
it's
you.
also a little bit of, yeah, I don't mind that much in nature, but it's also a little bit of being a woman. I like it is a little bit of a protected space where I can go over and be sure of no one can see me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you're working in your business, obviously there's not Wi-Fi everywhere. And so I actually have two questions. Electrical,
Yes.
I know that you would have electrical hookups at a campground, but how does that work if you're out in nature? And then the Wi-Fi situation, how does that work?
Uh, I I will say the most of the places in Europe there is Wi-Fi. So
Oh,
that
okay.
that is it is what you say functional. And what I do, I do know in advance when I go on the road. So those clients I have for my coaching, I'm putting them together. So I do that. I coach, for example, one full day and late in the evening, and then the next day. So I know, for example, if I do that on Wednesday and Thursday, I know Tuesday I need to find a place where we can park, where it will be undisturbed, where the Wi-Fi is good, um, and where we can stay for 3 days. So I plan my calendar already for when we go on the road, that my setup is for me to be on the road.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. So does your partner work as well?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same setup for both of you.
It's the same setup for both of us. It is a little bit sometimes depending on also if what you say. When I have coaching, when you do have coaching, this is a confidential space. I need to have the confidential space. So that also means that he can't be around.
Right, just kick him out of the van. Just say you
Yeah.
gotta go.
Yeah, or I go out of the van and find some place in nature where there is quiet, and I know there will not come someone with their dog or things like that. So it is a little bit of finding the balance also when he has called, for example, because then I can't have a coaching, of course. So we need to schedule around each other. And for what you say, the more computer heavy stuff, there we book at once a week a day on a co-working space, just to
Okay.
sit down properly, have a proper scream, have some quietness to concentrate on work.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Are there a lot of co-working
Yeah.
spaces in
Yes.
Europe? Oh, okay,
Yes, there
perfect.
are.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of other questions for you. So first, I would
Mm.
love to know, well, the first, what unpredictable obstacles have come up when you've been in your nomadic lifestyle? So
Yeah.
are there one or two stories that you can share that like really pop out to you? I see you laughing right now. I'm sure that they're
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah. So if anyone ever think about going to the UK, as soon as you are 1 meter out of any city border, you have no network whatsoever.
Really?
And
Why is
that
that?
I have no idea. We all always do that when we are in a country. We buy a local SIM card, and then we have our own little portable router. So we are normally quite good covered. But the UK, the cover was so lousy. And we talk to other people, or of course when we travel around, you meet people at pubs and things like that. And it is apparently a thing in the UK that the network connection, as soon as you are out of the cities, are just terrible.
Hmm.
And that was a surprise. And it did cost a couple of times a little bit out of a stress moment of knowing, hey, I need to get network, I have clients tomorrow. If I go into a city, it's hard to find this quiet space I need to have. but yeah, we did manage. It was just, I think also it was stressful because it took us by surprise. We hadn't imagined it at all that it was like that in the UK.
Yeah, I could not imagine that either. But at least if that does happen, when you go somewhere else, you know what to do, right? You have a backup plan now,
Yeah,
so that's good. That's good.
definitely.
Also
Yeah.
so interesting. Sorry, go ahead. What else were you going to share?
Yeah, also like I said, I do like to sleep in nature. And one where we are in France and we have parked at the vineyard, and they're normally perfectly okay with you parking in the vineyard, and we could hear the farmer goes starting working on the wines and fine, and then we open, and then he sits in a fully covered suit with mask and everything and spraying 2 meters from us.
Oh my gosh.
so so we packed very fast down and just drove away because it was little okay, if you are so protected when you are spraying this, we're not gonna be close to you.
Oh my gosh. And also,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to eat what he was spraying.
So
Oh,
yeah, it was
yikes.
in start of the season, so it's probably rush up when it comes to when the grapes are ready and things like that. But yeah, it was just like, okay, I don't want to know what you are doing right now. We just gotta move ourselves.
Right. You just hop in and go away as
Yeah.
fast as you can. That's funny.
Yes.
So when we see, well, actually, I have another question first.
Mm?
Where can you pick one of your favorite places that you've been to? That may be a
Oh,
hard question.
yeah, that is a very hard question. I think it's always hard to pick a favorite things. Uh, I do, and this is what you can say. It's not a particular place. We have managed to find them different both in Spain and in France and in the UK and also in Denmark. But when you wake up in the morning and it's just you and nature. So you sit there next to the van, the cat is twirling around, you just hear the birds, and it feels like you are alone in the world, and everything is just beautiful.
That is so true. I've experienced that a couple of times when I've been out with my family, either camping or staying in a cabin somewhere, something like that. And even just in my backyard, even though it's not the same. It's definitely not the same as being out in the middle of nature, but that is such a calming feeling, right? It's like
Yeah, it is.
you feel like you're on top of the world, right? You feel like
Yes.
nothing can ever bother you again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
such a great feeling.
it that is also one of the things I like about the nomadic life is we can choose to stay there
That's true. Yeah.
because we don't make that many scheduled plans. We don't have like a fixed route we have to take. We normally have like I said, I do have my coaching, and my partner does also have his business meeting, but we put those together. So quite often we are quite freely in how we move around. And
Mhm.
that is just amazing.
That was going to be my next question. Do you have like a set schedule that you go to like every couple of months, or how do you decide where you're going to go and when you're going to go? Do you just kind of throw something on a map and say, all right, that's where we're going to this week?
No, what do you say for the longer trips? They are normally from what do you say from January to around April, May. Also getting out of the winter in Berlin, which is really cold and yeah, just dark and I not a place to be. And
I'm in
then we go
Chicago, so
south.
I understand it's the exact same
Yeah,
here.
yeah, and then we go south. Because yeah, we do go to the light and we go to warmer temperatures. But how far south we go and in what direction? This we're talking about this year that we're gonna go to the Canadian islands, so Lanzarote, Tenerife, and I'll jump around those islands because we can from Spain get a ferry to there. Also because they nature-wise should be so different each island from each other, so that would be a place where we really could spend some time.
Oh, that's so cool. So interesting. Do you ever, this is probably going to be a silly question, but have you ever gotten somewhere and realized that you couldn't stay in your van? Like if it was storming really bad and you had to check into a hotel or something, has that ever happened to you?
No, we have had where what you would say that we have had to leave a place because there has been no camping, for example. That we then have had to find another place to stay for the night, but that is the most we have experienced. We
Okay.
have sometimes checked into a hotel if we just wanted to have a little bit of luxury for a couple of days.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Nature is great, but there's something just about being in a building every once
Yes.
in a while too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, and we have sometimes that we have experience. Like I said, we do travel with a cat. So if we want to go and see a city, and especially if we are places where it's warmer, we need to find an underground parking garage to get the van out of the sun, so it doesn't get too warm while he stays in the van, because he stays in the van while we walk around the city.
Oh, that's
And there
true.
we yeah, there we have had a couple of times where we just have must say, okay, there is no available underground parking, we're gonna leave, we're not gonna make a stay over.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have even thought about that, which leads me to my next question. What are some things that you didn't think about when you started? Like what were some surprises that you had?
Yeah, but uh I don't think I had really made a picture of how it should be, so it was really just go with the flow and see what happens. um
And did that serve you well?
yes, very well, because yeah, I don't really like you can see, I'm really trying to find something who surprised me in a non-pleasant way, and I can't really find it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
uh
great.
I can
So
be
if
surprised of how many mosquitoes there can be on one spot.
yeah. Oh, I bet. I bet, especially after it rains or something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, if somebody was interested in getting started on this nomadic lifestyle that you've been on
Mm.
for all of these years, what would you tell them? What are a couple of pieces of advice that you could share?
uh First of all, I will tell them find out what kind of nomadic lifestyle is it you want to have, because living in a van and moving around all the time isn't for everybody. There's also people who do jumps from air to Airbnb to Airbnbs, people that do it by work away, where they work for a farmer for some of the day and then live and get food free, or do house sitting and things like that. So find out what is it you want to do. What type of nomadic lifestyle do you want to have? I will say that is the most important part. And also expect, of course, depending on what your setup is and how you do it, expect to spend more money than you think you will. For example, we have a very minimum kitchen, which also means we go out and eat more than we, for example, do as when we are in our home base. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, we can also do that because we don't use any money at all besides gas on where we stay.
Right. I'm sure a lot of the places that you stay are free, unless you go to a campground, of course, then you have to
Yeah,
pay. Yeah, that
I
makes
don't
sense.
think we have ever paid for camping.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yes.
Wow. I don't know if you can get away with that in the States. I don't know. But that's
But you
great.
say some of the places we have been, you can probably also not totally get away with it, but it also depends on how relaxed people are regarding it.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and like I said, it looks like a transporter. It's not a big RV or anything, and we're not the type to put up a lot of tables and chairs and make ourselves a home. We use what is there, and we leave nothing behind.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's just the two of you, so you don't have a bunch
Yeah.
of kids running around or dogs running around either. So that
Yes.
makes things a lot easier as well.
Yeah.
Well, this has been so eye-opening for me to hear this different type of lifestyle that you lead.
Mm.
And I personally know that this is not the type of lifestyle for me. I could not do that. But
Yeah.
I love that you were able to not only figure out what you wanted to do in your life by becoming a transformative coach, but also use this desire to travel and live this nomadic lifestyle alongside your coaching business. So I think that's amazing. And if somebody wanted to connect with you to learn more about you, your nomadic lifestyle, or coaching, where's the best place for them to do that?
That is to go to my website. So that is hilbrands.coach. And there is all the way you can connect with me. LinkedIn, Facebook. You can also just send me an email.
Perfect. That makes it easy. So we will
That
link
makes
to
it
all of
very easy.
yeah, we'll put all of that in the show notes as well, just in case. So thank you again for being here, Daisy. It was so much fun to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, and just as a little side end note, like you said, if someone wants to have this nomadic life, of course, it also depends on what you're working with. But I had quite a lot saying, hey, being an online coach and only work with that will never work. So also go with your guts, because if this is what you believe in, you will make it work.
That's true. That's very, very true. That's a great piece of advice as well.
Yes.
Great. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you very much.